suddenly heard a chorus of chirping sounds. When I looked down, there was a nest of goose eggs under the tree. Just as I reached out to touch them, that faint sound came from inside the shells. I carefully carried each egg home, wrapped them in a scarf, and secretly took Dad's lamp, placing it on the bottom shelf of a drawer to keep the eggs warm. The next day, when I opened the drawer, the sight before my eyes stunned me. The goslings were hatching. I sat and watched quietly for a long time, until Dad walked into the barn. I'd fallen asleep on a pile of hay, surrounded by a group of goslings. Dad gently covered me with a blanket, just as he turned away.
Can I keep him? Please?
He nodded. From that moment on, the goslings saw me as their mother. No matter where I went, they followed closely behind. The ranger told me that without a flock to guide them, geese would instinctively migrate south and could easily get lost. If raised by humans, their wings had to be clipped to prevent them from flying. As he spoke, he pulled out a nail clipper and demonstrated how to trim the wings. I was terrified and quickly rushed over to stop him. Dad, angry, ordered the ranger to leave. That day, I rode my bike in front, while the goslings followed right behind. Seeing this, Dad came up with a bold idea. He decided to build a plane to guide them on their migration. With my agreement, they began working on the plan to win the goslings' trust. Dad dressed up as a goose and walked back and forth in front of them, but the goslings still only recognized me. So I first laid them running, then guided them to follow Dad. At last, the goslings were willing to trust him. Soon, their feathers grew in, and they were ready to fly at any moment. Dad decided it was time for a test flight, but when the plane took off, the goslings just stood still. No matter what I tried, they wouldn't move, so I hid in the grass. Sure enough, the goslings still found me, with no other choice. I secretly flew the plane myself, while Dad was taking a break. This time, the goslings followed me into the sky, but because I lacked flying experience, I hadn't gone far before I crashed into a nearby fence. Dad rushed over in panic. Luckily, I wasn't hurt. After that accident, Dad decided to fly with me and bought me a safer plane. He even sold his cherished lunar module model. Under his guidance, I learned how to fly. When the goslings in the cage saw me take off, they pecked through the ropes, rushed out, and flapped their wings to chase after me. This marked the start of the southward migration. We lead the flock past the school, soared over the tall buildings of the city, the sunset lighting up my glider. Below us were endless cornfields. I soared through the sky with the flock, leading them past the last small town. People looked up in amazement. My gaze was firm. I lead the flock over lakes, across wetlands, and watched them land on the water, playing freely in the lake.